Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Night Moves with the Fox Studio.com, which hosts all night long with the Fox, as well as being part of a syndication with RadioDentata.com. I am your host, the Fox. I guess I got a frog in my throat. Excuse me. We are broadcasting from the Prairie Fox Studios up in Saskatchewan, Canada, of all places. Very, very sunny, warm, but extremely windy day today. So if you happen to look over top and see me flying over, not a big deal. A little bit of Canadian humor there. I know it's pretty sad. Anyway, we have been getting quite a bit of success for getting show guests as of late through the LinkedIn site, and this evening I've been chasing down this lady for a few days now after getting her attention on the LinkedIn site. Jean Lupien from the West Coast has had quite a career already and still very young. I'm hoping I'm getting these titles correct, because she could still hang up on me or just cancel the show or whatever, being as nice as she is. She is and has been a pro tennis player. She has been a singer. She has been a writer and producer for film and TV, and an actress. All of the above, some come, some gone. A lot of them still with her in her mind, heart, and soul. And I think the latter, the acting, is still flowing through her blood quite a bit. Welcome to Night Moves with the Fox Studio, Jean Lupien.
Well, thank you for having me.
I don't know how remotely close I came in my notes in introducing you.
You're very flattering.
If I made any flaws, please enlighten the listening audience and straighten my behavior out and let us know exactly what you're all about, what you've been doing, and what's happening right now in the life of Jean.
Well, you're very sweet, and don't think I could ask for a better introduction. I think that if people who knew me were listening, what they would read into that is that I've been a little bit career ADD. I am currently in Los Angeles, and I am acting, and I'm in the process of also developing my own production company to write and produce projects, and I'm still working my way up, but I have arrived here after having, done some of the tennis and actually some corporate jobs in television, but I've had a pretty varied career, and I've landed in the entertainment business, if that answers your question.
Yeah, I think it does, and I hope it makes the listeners understand your talk a little bit better than mine. I have been doing this for a while, and I still tend to screw up my introductions every damn show, so I apologize.
That's the best introduction I've ever had, so I'm happy if that was screw up. I'm happy for it.
Okay. Now, you and I have talked mostly by email and a little bit before the show tonight, and I'm hoping that the listeners will discover this as well. When you made the comment to me before the show, I guess it was a compliment to me, and I didn't even realize it. When I talked to you, you've gone from at one point trying, and I guess actually almost succeeding at becoming a singer, but things which were natural to humans got in the way and stopped that procedure from carrying on. And you also were amazingly enough, a pro tennis player. And the one thing that kind of catches my attention, and I wouldn't be able to hit a tennis ball if you offered me $1 million on the spot in cash. So I'm trying to figure out, for my own curiosity as well as the listeners, how one goes from being involved with writing and producing for film, I guess either 2 pro tennis and or singing, and then pro tennis, and then back to TV again. What got involved to get you into pro tennis, and what stopped that career from you now becoming the world's top tennis player?
Well, let me see if I can answer a piece of it this way. When I was a little kid, my mother was a great champion of women should be able to do whatever they want to do. No limitations should be placed on them in their lifetimes. And I was actually named, my name is Jean, and it's a family name, but it was purposeful that I was given that name with a certain spelling so that I wouldn't be discriminated against as a woman when applying to certain schools for certain kinds of things. My mother had been discriminated against, and she wanted to make sure, across the board that there weren't going to be any issues with, limiting my opportunity to succeed. So with that kind of mom, kind of suggesting that the sky's the limit, I developed certain goals in my lifetime from the time I was very, very, very little. Now, she wanted me to be president of the United States, which wasn't really high on the top of my list.
Are you serious now?
Oh, she made me buttons, and we went to campaigns and everything. It was a little bit traumatizing, I got to tell you. But yeah, I was supposed to be president in 2008, and I think she was a little disappointed. But it wasn't any. I'm not very political, so that wasn't going to happen.
I know that my wife is going to deck me for this, and you're probably going to hang up the phone, but it's a chance I got to take. At this point in time, is it okay to ask what age you were?
When I was little?
No, when this happened, you're talking about these buttons and going to be the President of the United States.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, sure. I was, I feel like, I don't remember exactly, but I was probably around 9.
9 years old?
Yeah.
Wow, I got to give your mother a hell of a pile of credit. It was brutal for you. Well, no, stop and think about it. Now, I know I'm getting off track here a little bit, and you're probably going to be saying and thinking the same as everybody listening to the show. Where the hell is the fox going with this? But I got to make a point here. Now, you're 9 years old. You're a little girl. Your mother has got dreams of you becoming president of the United States. Probably two things happen here in the mind. Number one, you're 9 years old. This would be a 20-year plan. Number two.
Actually, it would have had to be longer than a 25-year plan. I think you had to be 34 to be president. So, yeah, that's long term.
And the second one, when's the last time, not we, but you guys, had a female president of the United States?
Never.
Now, at the same time, as bizarre as that sounds, and pass this on to your mother if you'd like, up until a couple of years ago, when's the last time we had a, quote, black president?
Exactly.
Not exactly too far-fetched, is it?
No.
So there's still hope. Kidding.
There is, if I liked politics, but I think that I don't live the kind of life that would be well suited to that environment. I have great respect for people that are able to do it and be that committed to what they're doing, but it's just never been my cup of tea. Okay,
I'll let you get back on track. Now that I've got you almost out of the boat, get back in the boat and let's keep on paddling. I'm sorry about that. Everybody's bursting out laughing at me now.
So let's see if I can remember what you're asking exactly. So when I was a little kid, this was, I don't want to say that there were expectations, but it was made very clear to me that if you're given a lot is expected of you. If you have talents, it's kind of there's a responsibility that you have to see them through, and so that kind of psychology. So, and I think I came out of the chute a little ambitious. So I thought, okay, well, let me cut up my life. This was at 9. I was like, let me cut up my life. So the first section of my life, and I hadn't decided on that it was going to be tennis, but I said, well, let me be a pro athlete, because I was thinking of all the big things in the world. What are the biggest things I could possibly be? And let's not miss anything. So let's be a pro athlete first. Then let's go to Broadway and do,
oh my God!
and then I'll make my mom happy, and I'll go be president later. And that the time frame should have worked out okay. And you know, as a little kid, you don't really think about, you know, the wiring that you're creating in your own mind. But I think, you know, with the exception of politics, I think that I've kind of been chasing after things that I set up for myself even at that point in time. And, you know, once I get something in my head, I'm a little obsessive. I want to make sure that I don't tend to do things that I'm not good at, so so I don't get frustrated because I think that I'm working with something that's going to lead me to where I want to
Okay,
go. Like,
okay.
I collect paintings, but I'm not a painter. I'm not going to go try to be a painter.
Right.
And so, I mean, I understand my limitations, but when I do think I can do something well and I decide that that's what I'm going to do, I'm not happy with myself until I've gotten as far as I can go.
Okay.
So does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, it does. Yes, yes. Now, let's go to, let's touch base a little bit on your singing career.
Okay. When I was playing tennis, I'll just do it chronologically so it makes sense to you. When I was I started playing tennis late, and when I decided that I didn't want to play tennis any longer, it was because it wasn't satisfying enough parts of me, and I hadn't gotten that successful at it or anything like that. But I was very encouraged because I had a very famous tennis coach who thought I was going to do a lot of big things. But at some point, you know, in the process, I decided that it wasn't the right path for me. So somebody convinced me I needed to get a real job, and so I moved into more of a corporate world. But it happened to be in television. So I kind of worked my way around through there doing different kinds of things, and got very successful. But while that was happening, I got my heart broken, and I realized how much I didn't like my life, and the person that broke my heart was very interested in the arts, and it kind of brought everything back that I had walked away from. And for whatever reason, all of a sudden I could hear music. And I had always been a singer, but I did plays and I did things like that, but I never considered myself, you know, going the path of a recording artist or something like that. But all of a sudden I could hear music and I could write music, and it wasn't a skill that I had before. So I ran, you know, things that were coming to me by people in the know, and pretty soon I was talking to people in Los Angeles, and then moved to Los Angeles for music. But what didn't occur to me at the time was that I had horrible stage fright, and I felt very vulnerable doing that thing. So it ended up being a very short-lived endeavor. I mean, I think I wrote to you that I had 7 managers probably in the span of 3 years, and I lost every one of them because I just didn't want to perform in front of people. And that's not a good quality to have as a singer. It's like you got to kind of want to sing to people. And so, you know, through that, you know, and everyone was very nice. Nobody ever said a bad thing about what I was doing, and there seemed to be, you know, a lot of hope that I could do well at it, but it just, again, wasn't the right fit. And so I was caught up with a day job, you know, in this big corporation, while I was, you know, also, you know, burning the, I don't want to use a very trite, I can't even think of the word, but basically burning the midnight oil, moonlighting, doing the singing thing. And, you know, I realized that wasn't it. And then ultimately it came back to, I should have been doing the thing that, you know, when I looked out from the stage, you know, through the window to see a tennis court, I left, you know, I was already in the right place before I got off track. So I've returned to, you know, the acting and now writing, producing in a much